I would invite you to stay seated for the next song. It's on songbook page 24. Now, we may have run out of songbooks, and if that's the case, I want to teach this to you. It's a simple chorus. The words are, "Don't be afraid. My love is stronger. My love is stronger than your fear. Don't be afraid. My love is stronger. And I have promised to be always near." This is one of those songs that we're not supposed to sing from here. We're supposed to sing it from inside here. And so Brian will play and we'll sing it 4 or 5 times so that eventually you can sing it from your heart, knowing that the words are true. God's love is stronger than our fear. The ushers will collect prayer cards as we sing. Let's now sing together. One more time. Shh. Don't be afraid. My love is stronger. My love is stronger than your fear. Don't be afraid. My love is stronger, and I have promised to be always near. The God Who Fell from Heaven by John Shea. If you had stayed tight-fisted in the sky and watched us thrash with all the patience of a pipe smoker, I would pray like a golden bullet aimed at your heart. But the story says you cried And so heavy was the tear, you fell with it to earth, where like a baritone in a bar, it is never time to go home. So you move among us, twisting every straight line into Picasso, stealing kisses from pinched lips, holding our hand in the dark. So now when I pray, I sit and turn my mind like a television knob till you are there with your large open hands spreading my life before me like a Sunday tablecloth and pulling up a chair for yourself, for by now the secret is out. You are home. As we prepare for the word preached, would you join with me your hearts and minds in prayer? O God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of each of our hearts be found acceptable in your sight, for you are our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. So a week ago, Janelle Bentz and I went over to Clinton to Jubilee Farms, soon to be Jubilee Farms United Church of Christ, because our own Cindy Ash, who is a member in discernment, Cindy is planting an official church of the United Church of Christ there at the farm, so that people who gather to be part of that faith community will have a very clear mission. They work the earth together. And then together, they help feed the community with local, organic food. In fact, our community, our church community, we've already benefited from this ministry of Farmer Pastor Cindy because she's donated eggs that then folks in our congregation have used to make food for the Canteen Run, another ministry in Champaign-Urbana that we partner with. And so folks without permanent addresses in Champaign-Urbana and folks that are hungry in Champaign-Urbana have feasted off the land from Cindy's eggs. Because as Janelle will tell you, whenever we cook, no beans, no bologna, we make quiche. Just telling you, that's what we make. So Janelle and I go out to the farm, and we're there with Cindy, and Cindy's excited. She takes us out to the new hoop house where she's going to be growing tomatoes. And there is this soil inside the hoop house. It is dark and rich and beautiful. And she's telling us about the soil and how tomatoes really flourish under the hoop. And it is so gorgeous. Like, I'm ready to reach down and pick up some of it because it's so amazingly rich soil. And that's when Cindy says, and it's cow manure. And I'm like, oh, well then, okay. I was in heels, by the way, because I'm very impractical and why wear boots to a farm, right? I had on heels. So there I am in my heels in cow manure, sinking into the cow manure. But it was funny because it didn't smell. It didn't smell. And we look at Cindy and we say, really? Really? This is cow manure? Because it has no smell. Now I want to pause for a second and side road. I want to make sure that all the kids in worship this morning know what word I've been saying. Do you know what the word manure means? Do you know? No. The word means poop. I got smiles. Somebody covered their mouth. I know, right? So here's the thing, kids who are here in worship this morning. You get to go home today, and whenever you have fancy Easter dinner, and you're sitting with grandma and grandpa or whoever, and they ask you, what happened in church today? At the Easter dinner table, you get to tell them that Pastor Leah talked about poop in worship, okay? 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 Okay. Okay? Okay. But you have to tell them why, and I'm going to finish the rest of the story now. So here's the thing. It didn't smell. And so we're asking Cindy, this poop doesn't smell. What do you mean? And she says, well, see, it's from the cow farmer down the road. And he takes the manure and he mixes it with straw. And then like any good compost, right? You have to take it and you have to turn it every few days. And you take it and you turn it. You turn it over so that what was buried down inside suddenly gets breath and air and light. You take it and you turn it over. And it changes. It's suddenly not a big stinking pile of poo any longer. No, after it composts, it becomes this rich, beautiful soil out of which new things can grow. So if we look at the calendar of Holy Week, you know what yesterday was? What Holy Saturday is? It's the big compost pile of grace. Because it's in that mysterious time between death and new life that God takes the stuff of death, the big stinking piles in each of our lives, and turns them over and turns them over and turns them over to the breath of the Spirit and to the light. And they get changed. And then the green blade rises, as the choir sang earlier. This is how I've come to experience the resurrection. Anytime something happens in life that feels like refuse, like garbage, like detritus and decay, whether that's death or violence or war or abuse or addiction, whether that's hate or intolerance or indifference, any of those things that just suck us right down into the grave. Anytime I've experienced those things, the tighter my grip is on those things, the more they stay the same. But the more we take and loosen our grip and turn them over and turn them over and turn them over to God so that God can take them and infuse them with light and breath, then something new and life-giving always, always, always emerges. There's no timetable for that in life. The story that we read today, it says it took 3 days. Well, maybe it's like the manure in Cindy's farm. Maybe it takes a whole year to turn it over and turn it over and turn it over into something that gives life. But see, God does it all the same. Mary got up in the morning expecting to arrive at the tomb and be stuck in that moment of death. But she was surprised. We can't be afraid to let go of our tight grip. Just the way the poem said at the beginning of this message, that God loosened God's grip so that God could fall to earth in the tears of compassion. We have to be able to let go, let loose of our grip, and turn those things over and over and over, and not be afraid, trusting that God's love is bigger than what we're afraid of. Because sometimes we get afraid that if we let go, that everything will fall apart. Well, not if we turn it over and turn it over and turn it over to God's grace. And so when you go from this place this morning, and when you go and tell the story just as Mary was told to go and tell the story, this is the story that we tell. That so often, right? Life kind of feels like life at the farm. But that we see how God turns things over and new life rises anyway. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. But it's the good news that we get to tell. Amen.